So you look at this Maple Leafs roster, and again, I think it's so hard to quantify early on here in the month of July. But is this Leafs team better than the one that finished the season? Is the premier question here. They added Reeves, they added Klingberg, Domi, Bertuzzi, they lost O'Reilly, Achari, Bunting, Kerfoot, Shen, Hall, and a couple others. Is it too early to tell, or can you make an assessment one way or another?
I can tell you that I'm more excited about
Really?
this team than I
Yeah.
was. Again, you didn't. I mean, that core four kind of is everything, but with all the eggs in that basket, they obviously couldn't get it done in the playoffs for several years in a row. They just don't have enough of a supporting cast to be a deep playoff team. And I just think that we have gotten better with the acquisitions that they've made that allow them just to simply be a better suited playoff team. I do think that those guys that they've added, if they're all gelling and clicking together, they all bring something to the table. They all open holes, and it will allow the core four to actually do what they're supposed to do in the playoffs when they tend to, shy away a little bit, not intentionally, I'm sure, but when you're left out to dry like that and you have, a one-dimensional type style of play and you get into the playoffs where everyone knows the style of play changes drastically, it's shown to be their heel. And I think now that you have addressed it, I have reason to believe that they look better suited to go deeper in the playoffs than they did at the end of last year.
I almost have that feel where I'm almost expecting them to take a step back in the regular season, a la what Florida did. I don't know why. And I'm fine with that, man. Like, as long as they find a way to get in. I know it got pretty hairy for the Florida Panthers. They had to rely on the Leafs choking in that game, Alex Lyon going on a crazy run. And next thing you know, the Florida Panthers find themselves in. But I almost come to the expectation that that could happen with this Leafs team. And that's why I'm sort of, channeling myself not to overreact when and if that happens. But I'm with you. I think necessarily when you look at the regular season, I don't know how this is going to benefit this roster as much as like a previous iteration of this team, especially the one that finished last season. I thought they were fantastic. But I think in the long run, they've put themselves in a better position to be a team to be a force to be reckoned with in the Stanley Cup playoffs in terms of the guys they brought in, the character they brought in, the personalities, the color. And I'm prepared to go that way. Like, I think we're at a point where we know this is an excellent regular season team. We need something in the playoffs. We need some jam. We need something different from this team.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm not, by no means do I think they're going to be like, President Trophy winning contenders to miss the playoffs. I don't think they're
Yeah.
going to fall off the planet by any stretch. But I almost thought it was to their detriment the last few years where you're just racking up points throughout the regular season. You have some of your easy
There's no
games and
adversity. Yeah.
no adversity, and
Yeah.
everyone's telling you're looking at the numbers, and oh, we're the favorites, and everyone's calling you a contender, and it's kind of easy just to think, oh well, we're going to run through this team because of this reason and that reason, and then all of a sudden they're always shocked by the pace of the playoffs and the physicality of the playoffs and the brute force of teams that step it up to become playoff contenders. Oh man, and they're always caught, oh shit, what do we do now? Do we have to reinvent the wheel here to try to get into this series? Too late, it's over. Oh shit, what happened again? I That's just been what happened, and that's why I was so worried they're going to run it back. But now, if they have to battle for their points, and if they have to like take half of a season to really like mold their identity as a team, that's what tends to happens to teams that aren't necessarily the forerunners of the Stanley Cup favorites. And you start building and building and you gain that identity and the guys gel and they become this family. And then all of a sudden you run into the playoffs and we know who the fuck we are. We know how to do it. We know what it looks like. And you start running to teams and you can be the one that shocks teams who thinking they're going to have an easy time. And, that's a look that the Maple Leafs haven't really ever had. They're always kind of overhyped and more of a regular season type team in recent memory. And I just like that they're going towards a direction. And again, Treliving says he's not done, but going in the direction of making that their identity more so than what it's been the last few years.